On the SEC Network. It's a season opener tonight in Athens as the Western Carolina Catamounts battle the Georgia Bulldogs. And a good evening from the Stegman Coliseum, along with our analyst, Coach Steve Keener. I'm Jeff Dantzler. And, Coach, all eyes on the freshman phenom, the Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards.
They certainly are. The Dogs open year 2 under Tom Crean with lots of excitement. Much of that has to do with Edwards. He's arguably the most celebrated recruit to enter this university in over 40 years since Dominique Wilkins. You see here, he can do just a little bit of everything. He's got the ability to impact the game at both ends of the floor.
And a tremendous crowd here tonight. The spirits of the Georgia people soaring after the football team's victory over the Florida Gators in Jacksonville this past Saturday. Edwards bringing in so much excitement. There you see the 4th highest ranked player of incoming freshman, preseason All-American. He's on all the watch lists. First team All-SEC, and what he could mean for this program.
Yeah, not just this year, but moving forward. He validates what Tom Crean and staff were trying to do when they arrived, and that was bring in top talent, particularly from the state of Georgia.
As the Catamounts take the floor, Georgia's still in the huddle, and this is a tremendous crowd here tonight, as good as I've seen for an opener, and this is the earliest Georgia's ever opened a game. We are just on November 5th at that creep of the schedule, and of course we got the monster matchups, basically a first 4 tonight highlighted by number 1 versus number 2, and this is really one of the best times of years in sports.
It is. It's a crossover. We're in the midst of just some high-level football, but yet basketball gets going, and right now here in Stegman Coliseum, we're ready to watch the Georgia Bulldogs.
All right, and there you see the Georgia bench. Mark Prosser, the head man for Western Carolina in his 2nd year. Great name in the sport. You knew his father, Skip, very well.
I knew Skip very well. As arguably as good a basketball coach as there was. Elevated Xavier, then Wake Forest. Unfortunately, left us much too early.
And Gameze and Steger battle for the tip, and Anthony Edwards controlling as Georgia in white goes left to right. There's the transfer from Northeastern, Donnell Gresham, trying to steady the Bulldogs at the 1. Tyree Crump, who has an excellent 3-point stroke, gets it for Gameze, and the bank is open. And there you see the starting 5 for the Catamounts. And Carlos Dotson, he's the man to watch. Had double-doubles, Coach, last year against both NC State and Wake Forest.
Well, he's a load inside. All of 6'7", all of 270. The lefty really knows who he is, and that is he plays block to block. He will come out, screen and roll, but he'll know right where to go back where his bread is buttered.
And Gameze picking up that first foul. Excellent shooter, Matt Halverson, 35.3% on threes. The Catamounts can play a little inside out. There's a nice floater from Cameron Gibson to tie it up. He was runner-up for SoCon Freshman of the Year. There you see Gresham running the point. How much do you think Edwards' presence will help Crump and Hammonds in particular?
I think his ability to drive and dish, playing unselfishly, will help both of those guys tremendously to give them better shot opportunities outside the 3.
Georgia's biggest question coming into the season going to be size, and Gameze just quickly picks up his 2nd foul, so Georgia will go to another freshman, Rodney Howard, out of Ypsilanti, Michigan, who averaged over 10 a game in high school. And running the point for the Catamounts, Mason Faulkner, a transfer from Northern Kentucky.
He's a guy that the Catamounts are very high on, sat out last year. He's a pure point guard.
There's Faulkner missing there. Good battle underneath for the rebound, and Georgia's Howard comes away with it. 4 starters back for Western Carolina. Edwards probes and loses control. And he was pretty fortunate to avoid the silly frustration foul there as Faulkner misses, and Crump will rebound.
That's one Faulkner'd like to have back. Just put a little bit too much on it there on the floater.
And Georgia turns it over. Gresham trying to find Howard. And you talked about him. Here's Mark Prosser. Well, to say basketball is in his blood, that would be an understatement, wouldn't it?
No doubt about it. And we talk about the excitement of Georgia basketball. There's some real excitement about Western Carolina Catamount basketball. Put aside their record of last year. Rebuilding, they've got 4 starters back. They're talented.
And there you see the man in the middle, Carlos Dotson, 13 double-doubles, averaged 13, 9, and 9.5, all-conference player.
He was third team All-SoCon last year and a preseason first teamer this year by the media and coaches.
Gresham with the offensive board, but no iron, so the shot clock does not reset. There's a tray, and the freshman misfires. Weak side rebound to Hammonds, who spins and stumbles. Walker a foul, will have a foul, and Hammonds will get to the line. And there you see Rayshawn Hammond stepping to the stripe, and there's Tom Crean entering his second year, the highlight of his career. Led Marquette to the 2003 Final Four. Took Indiana to a couple of Big Ten championships.
Fantastic basketball coach, basketball mind, putting things together the way he wants them here at Georgia in year 2. We mentioned lots of excitement. By the way, not only gets it done on the court, but in the classroom. Demanding of his players, all 56 seniors, to play for him 4 years of earned a degree.
That's just great to hear there as we got our first sub coming in for Western Carolina. True freshman Travion McCray. Well, you mentioned the excitement for Western Carolina with 4 starters coming back. Dotson, a frontline player. Halverson, the excellent shooter. Some good freshmen coming in as Hammonds hits them both. So I feel like Western Carolina, Coach, one of the first things when we started talking about this game last week, you said, don't be fooled by their record from last season.
Absolutely. But first of all, it was a year, arguably the Southern Conference best year in decades. You know, Wofford won 30 games, won a game in the NCAA tournament. UNC Greensboro, ETSU, others very, very talented. Furman.
And Short got the feet set nicely, and Steger will head back the other way.
Really, the last year, though, they just didn't have a pure point guard. And now with the eligibility of Faulkner having sat out in the transition year, that moves Halverson off the ball and Gibson off the ball. Now you got 2 40% plus three-point shooters out there. You got Dotson in the middle. Now you've got something special.
And the Catamount faithful, they've talked about Dotson putting in a lot of work, getting better from the foul line. And with that, is he a guy who can go from averaging right at 14? Oh, can he get up into the high teens this year? Boom. He's got 4 right now.
Moves like that left a lot of 3 or 4 as a 56% free throw shooter last year.
Here's Crump for 3. That's off the mark, and Dotson to the window.
Quick shooting right now by the Dogs.
And a whistle, and a foul. It'll be on Georgia. It'll be on Gresham. That'll be his first of the team's fourth. Early in the season, we've seen Georgia, a couple of those fouls, not moving your feet.
And we'll watch it again here. Watch this move. It just hand. Boy, that's tough to. It's tough to defend when somebody's going downhill. Gresham, the 5th-year guy.
Here's another freshman, Xavier Cork. 6'7" and lean as Steger misses a tray. And here's Tyree Crump on the run for Georgia. Dogs can tie it with a 2. And Crump will step to the line. This foul will be on Cameron Gibson. That'll be his first and the team's.
Crump there. He had the defender backpedaling. He had all the advantage right there. No need to.
Now let's take a look at Dean's do's and don'ts.
Well, a couple of the keys tonight for Western Carolina. They got to control tempo, right? They can't get into a track meet. They got to find the range early. They're going to need to make threes to pull the upset. For the Dogs, they've got to limit turnovers. They simply must value the basketball better this season. And it comes down to rebounding a lot for this team, especially with the youth up front. It's going to have to be a collective effort by all 5 guys on the court to gang rebound.
And that is probably the biggest concern for Coach Tom Crean, as we like to say. You get on the low blocks of the SEC, man, that's the mean streets down there. There are a lot of tough and physical veterans.
There certainly are. These are the games that you're preparing for war in times of peace.
And Gibson misses a 3. 50-50 ball. Crump and the Dogs are on the run. Long 3, in and out. Edwards can't control the rebound, and this is going to be foul on Georgia. That'll be on the freshman Rodney Howard. Georgia gets some good looks at 3, just not dropping.
Yeah, Crump had both feet set right there, although, boy, it's interesting. Now, they've had how many months now to work behind that new 3-point line, but, an additional 1.5 feet can make the difference sometimes.
Yeah, point line, extended out over 22 feet. Halverson goes to Steger. Halverson probing the left side. They go to the big man, and there's another foul. Just getting too handsy there with Howard, his second. Georgia carrying a foul load. Just over 4 minutes in. It's 6-6 here in Athens on the SEC Network.
Wish you had a battery that lasted longer than lunch?
Yeah.
Order up. It's switching time. There, that's better. Switched up to 12 hours of battery life. Switch to Chromebook.
Not much. How about you?
Are you answering my text in person?
I am, yeah.
The Nissan Altima, now offering the most tech-advanced engine in its class.
6-6, Georgia and Western Carolina. The season is underway here in Athens, along with Coach Dean Keener. I'm Jeff Dancer, and Coach, I like the Catamounts' game plan so far.
Absolutely. Throw it inside to Dodson, play around him with some three-point shooters, and they're even so far through the first 4+ minutes.
Well, talk about Anthony Edwards. He highlights a star-studded freshman class for the Bulldogs.
He certainly does. 5 top 100 recruits, best for 5th in the nation in college basketball 2019 class. And by the way, Jeff, 5 top 20, that's the total that Georgia had in the previous 13 years.
And you're talking about ranked with the likes of Kentucky and Kansas in the rankings, and so impressive with the SEC. 5 classes inside that top 21. Christian Brown's a player I really like too. He's long, he's lean, and you mentioned it, what Edwards means for this season, for the growth of the program. Well, he's going to be a one-and-done guy. The key is going to be, how are the rest of these freshmen going to be in 2 years when they're juniors?
Yeah, make no mistake. And you hope that this class now attracts further talent.
A good strong move towards the middle by Dotson, but he can't finish. Here's the Ant-Man on the drive. What a first step, and he finishes at the rim to give the Dogs a lead. The burst.
So effortless at times as he continues to grow as a player and understand how he can affect his teammates with and without the ball. He's going to be that much better.
Well, look at Dotson just barreling down the middle of the lane like a fullback in the open field.
Just a great feel for the game. He knew exactly what he wanted to do right there, catching it at the elbow.
But he's a guy who can use his body to create space. He has definitely got a pro future. You would think in Europe, maybe the developmental league to get it started. Here's Hammonds who misfires. Tomorrow's tip won't go, another the freshman. And there's Dotson again, who's really having his way against the Dogs with 6 points and a couple of boards. Faulkner running the point.
He's put some fouls on a couple of their post players now.
Halverson misses from 3. Edwards on the run, and 8-8 tie. Left corner for the lefty, no good for Hammonds, and Georgia just can't buy one from distance. Bulldogs are 0 for 5 on 3s. Faulkner tries to feed it outside, and we got a kick. Let's take a look at Edwards' last basket. A quick first step.
One step, and he's to the basket, and he was outside the free throw line, and he just lays it in, makes the right play right there. Pretty mature.
Georgia will bring in Ty Fagan at guard, along with little Severe Wheeler as Edwards goes to the bench. And Wheeler was originally a Texas A&M recruit. He is out of Houston Christian High School, another top prospect, and the Dogs head to the line.
He's a guy that can change the dynamic of a game. Doesn't have blazing speed. You talked about it, but yet, you know, he can rebound well for his size. He can get inside and create for himself and others. What he really does, he's got great energy at the defensive end, and he can hound the basketball. Low to the ground.
Sometimes those guys, you can get up under the dribble.
That's exactly right.
That's Georgia's first miss from the foul line. Dogs are now 4 out of 5 from the strike. There you see the left-hander hits the second one. Georgia's back out on top. Well, one of these teams is going to hit a 3 at some point, right, Coach? Is combined 0 for 9.
Dogs have had some good looks, as have the Catamounts, I'd say advantage Catamounts in terms of overall ability to shoot from outside.
And the freshman took an extra step. Xavier Court, 6'9", out of Sulphur Springs, Texas. That was a great pickup for WCU.
It was. I mean, from Texas all the way to Western North Carolina, Cullowhee. You see the freshman right there, Corku, with the travel. But even Anthony Edwards, right? Nice job by Coach Crean to take him out, get a quick breather. Hey, he's a freshman or not, and all the accolades, nervous. First game. You just got to kind of calm down and let the game come to you.
Crump from Oconee County knocks it down. Crump, once you cross half court, he's asking for the ball.
You better find him defensively.
How much will Edwards help Crump? Because last season, when he was Georgia's top threat, teams could just extend. I've got to think it's going to create space and opportunities for Crump.
It will. And the new three-point line is not going to affect Crump either.
And there's an answer from Cameron Gibson. And WCU's first tray. Crump had 20 in the exhibition game at Charlotte. Misses this one. Steger to the boards. 12-11 Georgia.
Gibson with the last basket by the Catamounts. As much as Faulkner brings a point guard to their team and Dotson inside, I think Gibson's a real key to their success.
That's a great pass there from Faulkner, and the easy finish from Court. And the Catamounts with a little 5-0 run to go back out in front. Wheeler got bailed out. The freshman got out of control. Put a little hip to hip, and let's take a look at these trays back to back.
Well, defenders' hands, Halverson are down, and when you're playing a guy like Crump, you better have your hands up. And then Gibson, he creates a little bit of space with a hesitation. As you mentioned, was a runner-up freshman of the year last year in the Southern Conference, and a really good year. He's got a high ceiling. He had 34 last year in a game at SMU.
Gresham into Kamara. Here's another of those big-time freshmen, Christian Brown for Georgia, and an offensive foul. This will be on Brown. That'll be his first. And it's 7 fouls on Georgia.
Something to watch. Western Carolina now will be in the bonus moving forward. Watch the charge again. Nice job by Steger moving his feet. Brown just trying to create something from nothing.
Outside of the circle.
Little 2-2-1 three-quarter court now by the Dogs. Try to change it up a little bit.
Yeah, Georgia with a three-guard look here. Kamara and Brown. Forwards to go along. And there's Fagan making the play on the defensive end, and he'll finish. And Georgia's back out in front.
If you can just get a couple of those a half. Steal, turn it into a layup. Boy, those can be backbreakers.
Steger will contact there with Georgia's number 10, Tamani Kamara. Hip to hip. Steger from the elbow. In and out. And Gresham will control the boards.
It's 2 consecutive possessions. Dotson hasn't touched it, and against this smaller UGA lineup, not advantageous.
Kamara faces up. Brown. Gresham, a good three-point shooter, misses. Steger with the board. Gresham was over 40% for his career at Northeastern University. There's the big man. He's got 8.
Earl hands, too, huh? In transition.
Oh, yes, Earl Campbell through traffic there. I love it.
He is.
Love Dotson. What a player he is. Fagan. Wheeler. Wheeler with the screen. Oh, beautiful feed underneath. The extra pass for the tray. Money.
The assist Fagan, very unselfish.
Here the Catamounts with McCray in the forecourt. So they played 2 true freshmen, McCray and Court. Gibson, he's got a great stroke.
He does. He's not quite the pure shooter of Halverson, but I think he's every bit the scorer.
Wheeler from the foul line. Leaves this one short. Steger doing a nice job on the backboard.
Sure guy he is.
Got 4 rebounds on the defensive end.
There's been a lot of rebounds to be had.
A lot of misses. Look at the big man underneath drawing the foul, and he'll have free throws when we return. And this personal will be the second on Brown, and You got threes. You got the extra pass. And we've got ourselves a barn burner here. 17-17 on the SEC Network.
Uh-oh, no Wi-Fi at your in-laws' house? It's switching time. And now, it's Netflix time. Watch Netflix offline. Switch to Chromebook.
Back and forth, Bulldogs and Catamounts at 17-17, opening night here at the Stegman Coliseum. And how about the big man, Carlos Dotson?
The big man from Riverdale, Maryland, showing a lot of game here early. Well, you throw it inside, he knows what to do with it. Tends to turn right shoulder and use that left hand, but until he's stopped, he's going to keep going to it. Maybe the best play of the night so far. Great catch in transition by Dotson. Look, he's got 8 points. Couple of boards, doesn't have any turnovers. He's got to have a lot of confidence right now.
And I would think he's got to get a lot of touches here for Western Carolina. There you see where he is nationally in the statistics from a year ago. All those double-doubles, as we mentioned earlier, had one against Wake Forest, had one against NC State. And as you mentioned, Coach, that's a keen observation, using that right shoulder. The big fella using the body to create space.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, big, wide shoulders. Well, he knows how to dip without fouling, but then it'll force the defender to have to take a half step back. Now, here's a key. We talked about it. Just 53% from the line a year ago. Has he improved here in the last 6 months?
Misses this one, and Ngumeze with the 2 fouls with the rebound for Georgia. Dotson had a tremendous year last year. As we pointed out, if he can knock down those free throws more consistently, he's a Conference Player of the Year type. Edwards misses on the reverse, got a little too far underneath, and Dotson has his 3rd rebound. Steger out wide right. And Gibson will fire. That one's short. Dotson has it stripped away. Here comes Edwards, WCU. Good transition defense. Edwards against a double. Ngumeze with the flush.
Nice pass by Edwards. Crean out of the timeout, choosing to go with Ngumeze with 2 fouls.
Rolling the dice a little.
A little bit of confidence in the sophomore who had limited minutes as a freshman. He did play in most, I think, 31 to 32 games last year.
Nick Claxton turning pro after his sophomore year. Early 2nd round pick, really talented player. Dotson can't finish. Oh, and Steger misses an easy one underneath. Georgia catches a break. Hammonds and Dotson say hello to each other. There's a long one. Ngumeze fumbles a bit, and he can't finish. So I guess that evens out, right?
Karma didn't become an assist.
And there's Steger. And Dotson should get an assist for that one. That was a terrific with the foul. Let's take a look at Edwards' passing.
Here, but those special talents know right where their teammates are. Ngumeze do with it as well. So this one here, though, from half court pinpointed, Ngumeze just mishandles it a little bit and then forced it too hard.
Anthony Edwards rated as high as the #1 player in the country coming out. Mock drafts have him going #1 or #2 overall. Edwards from the foul line, no good. 4th rebound. Faulkner running the point around the screen. Nice pick and roll. Ball. Dogs in transition. And Ngumeze with a reverse. High kiss won't go. Edwards tries to tip it. Hammonds tries to tip it. And Gresham, nice defense, but Western Carolina will keep possession.
Great energy by both teams. Feeding off the crowd a little bit, but just showing some early season jitters and playing a little bit too fast at times. Evidence shown, Georgia shooting just 27% thus far. Catamounts a little better at 42.
I got a big picture question I'm going to throw you on the other end of the timeout, so get the thinking cap on, because you know I go deep.
And I love it.
We got a whistle. Going to be offensive here against Western Carolina. Just talking about the creep of the schedule as Doxson's called for his first. We're here on opening night, November 5th. That's a challenge for coaches to keep your guys with that winning edge for a long, long time. You mentioned it, Coach, that SEC tournament into the second week in March. It's a long season.
It's a grind, winning or losing. You know, back in the 80s, 90s, even early part of 2000, October 15th was Midnight Madness.
That's
and
right.
You were just getting kicked off. We'll continue when we come back.
And that foul against the Catamounts McCray. It's a tight one. We're tied in Athens on the SEC Network.
Your old laptop with new Chromebook. So why haven't you switched? One boots up as fast as 6 seconds, the other takes forever. One has built-in virus protection, the other should be quarantined.
Happy birthday. All caps. Exclamation point. Exclamation point. Cake slice emoji. Candle emoji. Emoji with the heart eyes.
1919, back with Coach Dean Keener. I'm Jeff Dantzler. All right, Coach, my favorite here, I like after the miss, the reset to 20. What's your favorite new rule?
Well, I like that, but I like the increase to three-point line to get to FIBA, right? I think eventually U.S. basketball needs to conform and play under similar rules, right? Men play halves in college, they play quarters in high school and in the NBA. Women at the collegiate level are quarters. We've got different free throw lines. We need to consolidate, and I think that will help us in international play.
I agree with you, and I love, and I first saw it in Rio at the Olympics with the resetting of the shot clock from 24 to 14 on the offensive boards. I just think that's going to do great in terms of increasing the flow of the game late, and hopefully it'll cut down on the fouling side. Everybody wants to see, every sport, pace of play, pace of play. I'm a big fan of that. And Coach, you talked about with the extension of the three-point line, how that's going to free things up, and that's what we all want to see there as Cork has that one knocked away, but he'll go to the line to shoot too. And you just now talk about a lot more space you got to defend, a lot more space to cover.
Yep. The lane more available for dribble plays from the perimeter, right? And maybe slowing a little bit of the trend of the three-point shot becoming so prevalent in the men's game, maybe. But I think it will assist in that offensive spacing.
Well, when I was a wee lad back in the dark ages, as Cork misfires, I love the big centers. You had Moses Malone, you had Kareem in the college game. There was Ralph Sampson and Olajuwon and Patrick Ewing. The game is just so different now.
There's no question, right? And now, particularly at the collegiate level, you better have a philosophy offensively and defensively how you're going to play and defend the pick and roll, the screen and roll. You see that so much.
Well, am I off here in thinking that size has become more important in passing lanes?
Yeah, you see bigger guards, but you see smaller forwards.
And it'll be Catamounts basketball. I think you hit on this too, Coach. Shots not going, some fouls. Hey, my young guys, they're not moving their feet, maybe getting a little bit haggard here. But it is, as you mentioned, it's opening night. You've been practicing it against each other, and now the game counts. So you've got some natural nerves.
No question. Doesn't matter who you are. Even some of the older guys. I mean, Dodson has been through the wars, but boy, playing opening night, always a little bit of excitement.
Bonus three right there from Faulkner. He is a pass-first player.
Because interestingly, he led the state of Kentucky in scoring as a senior. Has been known for it collegiately in Northern Kentucky, and now speaking with the Western Carolina coaches, pass-first guy.
Edwards getting in deep out to Kamara. Hammonds to try and give Georgia the lead. Misfires and three counts. Bad communication, Coach. They tip it away from one another.
You see right off the screen and roll, one dribble by Faulkner, gets his feet set and able to knock it down. And as you mentioned, that's a little bit of a bonus.
By the way, playing prep basketball in Kentucky and then played collegiate basketball in North Carolina. A couple of states that know their hoops pretty good.
I know that either coach would be thrilled with their team's play, but if you're Mark Prosser and you're up 2 here, check that, down 1.
The Ant-Man with his first career tray, and the Dogs are back out in front. Explosive. Faulkner, good hesitation. Alverson. Steger. Good defense, the link there from Kamara. There's the quick trigger three, no good by Halverson, the senior. And heads up, head over heels on the front row. That is Tyree Crump out of Bainbridge. Let's take a look at Anthony Edwards' three. Right on cue, Coach.
Certainly was. Made the pass, then came back. Boy, that was deep. But we've seen him attack the rim. We've now seen a three. We've seen some assists. Watch the hustle right here.
Hello. I wonder if he got some popcorn coming out of there. You know, and whether it's in the post or on the perimeter, sometimes that extra pass, when you get it back, that's when you get the best look.
No question. The ball generally finds the open man. At least it does on good teams.
Faulkner, nice head fake there. Got the freshman in the air and misses. Look at Dodson. The big man's into double digits.
He just out-hustled the Dogs. That will not please Coach Green.
Hammonds, another quick shot. He gets his own miss. Hey, we were talking about Moses. That was a Moses-like play. He would sometimes get the offensive board, the old stat sheet stuffer there. So Hammonds gets a basket and a board.
Hammonds is a guy, he's a big key to the Dogs' success this season.
Boy, they're the long arms of Kamara. Dotson, nice head fake, and Faulkner now has 5 points. Faulkner's got 3 assists, doing a great job. The Catamounts lead by 1 and a blocking foul. The Catamount bench did not like the call.
Watch Dotson just go get the ball, beats 2 defenders to it. Again, he knows exactly what to do, and then an unselfish play. He got it, could have taken it to the rim, thought better of it, gave it to Faulkner. He gave a nice little heads and shoulders to get the defender up in the air.
Both of these teams, Coach, last year Western went 4-14 in the SoCon. Georgia was 2-16 in the SEC. Both have their eyes on making it to the upper division, making big leaps in conference play.
And I think both can. You know, for Western Carolina, the Southern Conference comes back to earth a little bit. ETSU, clearly the favorite in that league, but Wofford loses their all-time leading scorer in Fletcher Arrett and some others. So I think they've got a chance. They're one of the real sleepers in that league. For UGA, look, they can move up, but I think a lot of it has to do with how these young kids grow up and then how the front court can play, particularly at the defensive end when they reach SEC play.
Tyler Harris, another freshman in for the Catamounts. He holds in the left corner. Dotson's asking for the basketball. Harris, lucky not to turn it over there. Gibson again. Wow. Shooter's touch.
Certainly was.
He's got 10. That's a pair of Catamounts at double figures. Wheeler, nifty move by the freshman.
He's got a feeling Severe Wheeler is going to be a crowd favorite.
Well, you always like the little guy, the underdog. It's a nice blow-by by McCray. The high kiss won't go, and Hammonds rebounds for Georgia. Catamounts by 1. Edwards for his second tray. This one's off target. Dotson, oh my goodness, Western Carolina, second time they should have had an easy board, and they lose it. That hurts. It is Western Carolina with a 30-29 lead as these two go back and forth on opening night on the SEC Network.
Slow laptop? How about one that boots up fast? It's switching time. How's that for fast? Switch to booting up as fast as 6 seconds. Switch to Chromebook.
The debut of the sensational freshman Anthony Edwards. Coach, how about his start?
Well, you know, some are going to judge every play while he's in uniform, but he's been pretty good. Yeah, you see his ability to see the floor. That's just a missed assist opportunity right there. but he's been able to get to the rim. He's been able to knock down a deep three, make some free throws. All in all, not a bad start for the young fella from Atlanta, Georgia.
One of the things you love to hear about when he came in, that Georgia might want him to actually be a little bit more selfish. There are going to be times he's going to need to look to shoot first as freshman to freshman Wheeler finds Brown.
You said it earlier, Christian Brown. I mean, he's got a chance to be special for this group. Does the things that help you win.
Alverson with a good fake. That is a long distance three. No by freshman Frank. Down, finish to the left foul.
Oh, you said it so strong. Just shed the defender and use the left hand.
Let's take a look at Wheeler to Brown.
That was the previous play. Nice job out of the media timeout. Dumped it right there where he could catch it. And then Edwards on the last play took the hit but finished. And now a big 3.5 minutes for Western Carolina. They played really well here for the first 26 minutes or so.
And this game hasn't gotten out of a one-possession game the whole way. It's been tied 1, 2, or 3. Edwards hits the foul shot. He's got 11.
And just like that, he's the leading scorer in the game. And Georgia with its largest lead of 4.
Oh, there's a reach. Edwards whistled for the foul. And that means free throws. Tom Crean didn't like the call. Here's the thing about officials. You're going to have one coach in your ear no matter what you do.
I heard an official recently say, you know what, at least on a charge, I'm going to call something because I'll be 50% right. If I don't call anything, everybody's going to be mad at me.
Exactly. That's a tough job. He's working your friend Chuck Jones, who's been doing this a long time. And we know how it goes. Coach, you've been in this business a long time. You know you're not going to get the makeup there. You're just wanting to get a little help down the road, maybe.
Just a little touch there. Looked like he had mostly ball. Gonna get every call, though. Got to play through it.
Brown with the rebound. It's Georgia by 3 with just over 3 minutes to play here in the first half. Opening night around the SEC. Donnell Gresham, the transfer from Northeastern University. Edwards. Gresham, very good three-point stroke. Misses, and that is a blatant push-off on the freshman Rodney Howard. That's his third. Hard to hide that one.
Yeah, certainly is, especially when you're throwing down 270-pound Carlos Dotson.
Well, let's see how Dotson does at the foul line here. He's having a terrific game here tonight, really controlling the boards. He's got 6 rebounds to go along with 10 points. 0 for 1 from the line. He's 5 out of 8 from the floor. Dotson, an all-conference player.
And free throw is so key, not only for him but for Western. If they're going to try to spring the upset, Faulkner went 1 of 2. Now Dotson misses the front end of 2. Western desperately needs to stay close here down the stretch. As much as I said it's a big 3.5 minutes for Western, it's a big 3.5 minutes for UGA to try to expand this lead, go into halftime with a little cushion and a little confidence.
The longer the underdog hangs around, the more the underdog believes it can win as he rattles home the second one. Wheeler into fourth court. Edwards. Hammonds as Georgia weaves around the perimeter. Offensive. That's 3 on Hammonds now. All right, Coach, at what point, and Western Carolina, they're set with a starting 4. They've got, I think, a pretty good idea what their 7, maybe 8-player rotation is going to be. For Georgia, at what point, if you're Tom Crean, do you start saying, okay, this is a combo I like. This is a combo I like. And you get more settled in maybe on your top 8.
Well, they're going to need more than 8 tonight with the foul trouble in. But to your point, you know, you're constantly evaluating with your assistants through film, through what you see in practice. And there are different combinations. I mean, there's no doubt that they know 2 or 3 guys, right? Edwards is going to be in there. Hammonds is going to be in there. More than likely Crump. But who plays best with them and when? The other key is you see Faulkner with another 3 is who's going to give us the best chance to win at the defensive end of the court.
Faulkner now has 9 points. Western Carolina's fourth three-point field goal. Another great pass by Edwards. Tipped out. It'll be Western Carolina's possession. So Western Carolina scored 5 in a row, and man, was that deep.
Well, and Edwards went under the screen. He'll be shown that on film. Much as we want to give him the accolade on that pass he just made that wasn't converted at the offensive end, a little bit lazy at the defensive end. He'll get better as he watches and plays.
That's one of the big adjustments. Look at the big man Dotson. I love him. He's got 13. What a load. And just like that, the Catamounts have scored 7 straight. Georgia led by 4. The Carolina leads by 3. Oh, the thing is, for an elite high school player, you could get by defensively just on your sheer athleticism.
Learn once you get to this level, right? In high school, C level, and it's a man among men. And you've got to learn that. How do you become efficient while staying productive?
Everybody can play at this level.
Yep.
There's Gibson going right.
I'm Western. I go right back into to Dotson if I can.
Amen. Gibson misses the foul shot. There's Dotson. Loses control of it. And Georgia will have it with Gresham. Just over a minute to go. Dogs with the ball down 3. Edwards fakes. Dribble drive. Middle block. Little contact. Nope. Draws a foul. Crafty move by the freshman.
Watch Dotson on the previous, how he just carves out space. He just backed that defender probably 4 feet. Almost had his head underneath the rim, which neutralized him as a shot blocker.
Talking about Dotson, he's a senior. He's 22 years old. It's a big difference going up against an 18 or a 19. Edwards is at the line. He is 4 out of 6 for the charity strike, make it 5 out of 7. That's another sign of an excellent scorer. They get to the line.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Much as James doesn't like what he's doing. You know, last night he went to the line 21 times. So you don't always see that on Sports Center, right? You see, you know, the step back 3 from 28 feet, but what he's doing and those young kids don't understand is great players, to your point, they get to the free throw line.
Second free throw is no good, so here's Western Carolina. They can get a little 2-for-1 here. The Catamounts lead it by 2 with Carlos Dotson leading the way. 13 points and 7 rebounds for the senior power forward. Steger has it stripped away, but is able to maintain possession. 39 and 10 on the clocks. Dotson outside. He's got space. Can't finish.
Couldn't go with the right hand right there. Had to come back left, got bumped.
Dog's not thinking about playing for one. Wheeler with the high kiss. The little guy ties it. So the Catamounts will play for the last shot here. These two going back and forth, 37-37. Got to be around a dozen lead changes in this first half. And a timeout called by Western Carolina. So they'll set something up. And you got to think, as Wheeler goes driving in deep here, that it's going to be an inside out. Western going to try and get it to Dotson. If he's doubled, going to look for one of those 3-point shooters.
That's right. Boy, nifty move by Wheeler right there. You see the defensive specialist doing a lot of talking there, Joe Scott. But you're right, Jeff. I think Mark Prosser's talking to his guys about getting the ball into Faulkner's hands. And he's going to want to drive either to Halverson or Gibson, but on Dotson's side. Play a little 2 or 3-man game right there, and then just read and react off the defense.
All right, Saturday we'll have another full slate of college football right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. We kick off the day at noon Eastern, 11 Central. Arkansas hosting Western Kentucky in Fayetteville. Then it's off the day. Tennessee at Kentucky at 7:30. And our SEC. All right, there's Halverson. He would certainly be a candidate along with Gibson to get it back if Georgia collapses down on the big man. Halverson has not scored, and he averaged 11 and a half last year.
I stand corrected. Faulkner not in there because he's got 3 personal fouls.
So they go McCray, Gibson, Steger, Halverson, and Dotson. Fronting Dotson.
That's what Coach Scott was talking about. Deny at all costs it going directly into Dotson. Guess as Gibson's going to try to go get this thing.
There you go. Good call, Coach. Seconds to go. Crump extends the defense with 5. Gibson pulls up from 19 and misses. There's Dotson at the buzzer. He gets a whistle. Oh, Dotson's going to go to the line. He is a load down low.
And now got the shot off. Georgia just didn't finish the play and allowed Dotson to come up with that offensive rebound.
So here's Dotson with less than a second to go. He can give the Catamounts the lead, and he does. But what a game he is having. 14 points, 8 rebounds, well on his way to another double-double. It's a third foul on Christian Brown. Georgia carrying a heavy foul load.
That's 13 personal fouls. Multiple 3-foul player.
Dotson misses the second, and the half will end with Western Carolina leading Georgia 38-37, and Dotson giving the Dogs a taste of what they'll see in the low post in the SEC.
Well, they'll see a lot of that, but probably 3 inches taller. Nice job by Carlos Dotson. Nice job by the Western Carolina Catamounts coming here with a lot of confidence in the first game.
Ton of lead changes. Catamounts by 1 at intermission here on the SEC Network.
The game doesn't end after a spectacular touchdown grab because there's always another team looking to punch one in. With NFL Red Zone from NFL Network on Xfinity, you get every touchdown from every game on Sunday afternoons, all season long. Watch every breakout star, every heart-pounding running attack, and every big-time defensive stop. Sundays were made for football on Xfinity. That's simple, easy, awesome.
Add the sports entertainment package for NFL Red Zone. Click, call, or visit a store today to learn more.
Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. He's got a bag that's filled with toys for boys and girls again. Hear those sleigh bells jingle, jangle, oh, what a beautiful sight. So jump in bed and cover your head, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight.
The holiday price drop starts now at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Halftime here in Athens, along with Coach Dean Keener. I'm Jeff Dantzler. Number 1 versus number 2. How about some royalty? Bit of a first 4 with Kentucky and Michigan State.
Very much. We're in the heart of football season. A little early for basketball, but never too early for 1 versus 2.
Alabama and LSU, the Crimson Tide and the Bayou Bengals on the capstone, and the Thinking Out Loud crew is on the scene.
We're going to start with LSU on offense, led by Joe Burrow, and that's passing offense against Alabama's passing defense. Spears, I'll give you the first.
Yeah, G, I'm going to go with the number 1 O in the country right now. Joe Burrow, obviously, what LSU has been doing, it's just difficult to defend these guys. The receivers are playing very elite, and Alabama pass defense is good, but they've given up some plays. So I take advantage LSU in this situation with the way Burrow is playing, how Joe Brady is calling plays, and these receivers have been winning a lot of 50-50 balls so far this season.
Yeah, I think it's also LSU. Naturally, I think offense always has an advantage in a situation like this. In saying that, I think this is the best secondary, perhaps, that they've faced in regards to length. I think Florida had an excellent secondary as well, but I think Alabama's length could be a little bit problematic for LSU's wide receivers. I still favor the Tigers, though, in the matchup because I haven't seen them slowed down just yet. LSU's run offense against Alabama's run defense. I'm going to start with this one, and I'm actually going Bama, believe it or not. A lot of people think Bama's got holes up front. They're young. I understand that. But where Alabama's had holes is with the running quarterback. Ole Miss, the best example. With a more stationary, more traditional type of approach running the football, I think Alabama's defense is going to be up to the task. And I expect them to completely sell out to try to neutralize that type of attack because they don't want to get gashed by Elair and those excellent running backs. They really need to hold up in the trenches as best they can. I think Alabama actually has a very slight edge over a team that doesn't lean as heavily on the run game as we're used to.
Yeah, I struggle with this one because I do feel like Alabama's run defense is going to be very good. But I went LSU, and let me give people the reason why, because now you do have a prolific pass game. Who has the ability to remove guys out of the box.
Correct.
And we saw against Florida when they needed to resort to Elair running, it was a limited box. He made a guy miss and was able to get downfield. And then, too, when I look back at Alabama play Tennessee, some of those off counters, off the edge runs gassed them a little bit. I still think their linebackers are a little slow to the rock right now when it's going left and right. So we'll see if they can adjust that. I'm sure they'll be better than they've been.
All right, let's reveal this next one at the exact same time. LSU offensive line, Alabama defensive line. Terrell Lewis is the difference for me. I think he is the difference. I think him against working Deculus or working on the left side, either one, doesn't matter. I think that could give Alabama a slight advantage up front. I don't love LSU's offensive line. I love how their passing game neutralizes the pass rush of the opposing team. So I think LSU's offensive line is better than last year, but I still don't think they've really gone against a tenacious edge rusher, because remember against Florida, they were beat up at defensive end. So they haven't seen an edge rusher quite like Terrell Lewis.
If Joe Brady, in my mind, if Joe Brady is not accounting for 24, he got a major problem.
Well, that kind of goes to the next conversation.
No question. So when I look at this, it's not that if you line down man for man, Bama can't win rush. Look, I'm not super impressed with the D tackles this year from Alabama.
I hear you.
But I believe Terrell Lewis can wreck this game, and I'm giving Joe Brady validity to say, hey, we got to put a back over there. We got to make some formations. Yeah. So I play DN in this league, and when they want to eliminate you, they're going to figure out a way to put people over there.
Which is why we'll go to the next one. I'm taking Joe Brady over Pete.
This looks so Homer. But
no, it doesn't, though. It really doesn't, because I think you have a very clear argument on all those categories, and if you were to put Bama up on the other side, you might say, well, it might be all Bama. It really is, but I do think Joe Brady and his ability to create problems defensively with numbers, getting the ball out of Burrow's hands quickly, can neutralize some of these advantages that Alabama might have in some areas.
This play is insanity, and AWS has proof. Dramatic slow motion. It's a 5-step drop, and Russell nonchalantly fires the ball 55 yards. Receiver separation, spooning. Catch probability, a scant 29%. Oh, how did Russell get that ball in there?
Precision.
Next Gen Stats, powered by Amazon Web Services. AWS is how.
Western Carolina leading by 1. Great night for the Dogs. The K9 variety. Opening night here in the SEC. Along with Coach Dean Keener, I'm Jeff Dantzler. What a game, Coach. 13 lead changes and 8 ties in the first half.
Back and forth. You know, we expected a few jitters and a few nerves by the freshmen, but Carlos Dodson for Western Carolina, the senior, was really the difference maker.
He is a dude, and let's take a look at the first half highlights. Dodson leading the way, Coach, 14 points and 8 rebounds.
Well, he knows how to carve out space. He knows exactly what he is, and that is an inside low post presence, generally turning to his right shoulder and using that left hand. He takes what he gives him. And he put a lot of fouls and put a lot of on Georgia and put guys on the bench.
They started 0 for 4 shooting threes, hit 4 of their last 8.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big determinant of who wins this game. If Western Carolina can continue now what they started at the end of the half and knock down some shots, boy, they'll be right in this, because then that's going to open up the lane even more for Dotson inside.
Faulkner and Gibson both with a pair of trays, and here's the Ant-Man leading the way for Georgia.
Yeah, you know what? He played a really, really good first half of basketball. So much is expected. It's hard to say what people would think of this, but look, in the minutes he played, 12 points, but 5 rebounds. He had 1 assist, but 2 or 3 that didn't connect it. I mean, he was really good for his first 20 minutes of college basketball.
You take a look at the numbers there. Points in the paint because of Dotson. That's in Western Carolina's favor. The big number, though, not showing up there, as you mentioned, 13 fouls against Georgia.
Yeah, and you know, Western Carolina wasn't quite able to capitalize on that. They were in the bonus with just under 11 minutes to go.
So it is Western Carolina leading the Dogs by 1. Second half just around the corner on the SEC Network.
The game doesn't end after a spectacular touchdown grab, because there's always another team looking to punch one in. With NFL Red Zone from NFL Network on Xfinity, you get every touchdown from every game on Sunday afternoons, all season long. Watch every breakout star, every heart-pounding running attack, and every big-time defensive stop. Sundays were made for football on Xfinity. That's simple, easy, awesome.
Add the sports entertainment package for NFL Red Zone. Click, call, or visit a store today to learn more.
Happy birthday, all caps, exclamation point, cake slice emoji, candle emoji, emoji with the heart eyes.
Western Carolina with a 38-37 lead here in Athens as we go around the SEC along with Coach Dean Keener. I'm Jeff Dantzler. Busy night, opening night around the league. There you see the Gators off to a good start. What do you expect out of the Vols this year, losing so much talent?
Well, you can't lose that much talent and kind of remain at where you're at, although Rick Barnes, an excellent coach, and by the way, an excellent recruiting class for next year. First things first, going to take a little while to shift things out.
All right, let's take a look at some series history here. Western Carolina, there's the big man, Carlos Dotson. 2 wins all time against SEC foes. Beat Tennessee back in 1993 and Arkansas in 2003. Trying to add another scalp here tonight.
Well, you got to feel like they went into halftime extremely confident when you're up 1 on the road and played good, but didn't play great.
How about that last meeting here? I remember it well, Coach. The Dogs had to eke one out there as Western Carolina had a couple of double-digit leads slip away. And that's where oftentimes you'll see that superior depth come through. Now, Tom Crean, I would imagine he and his staff at the half, they were trying to come up with some sort of solution to try and slow down Carlos Dotson. 14 points and 8 boards for the big man.
Well, and how do you do it when you've got so many guys in foul trouble, right? Rodney Howard with 3, Christian Brown with 3, Hammonds with 3. Across the board, Ingumeze was fortunate. He played with 2 and didn't pick up a 3rd. That'll be a key to watch early on here in the first 4 or 5 minutes as does Western Carolina go into Dotson, and can Georgia defend him without fouling?
I think the X factor that first half, too, the 9 points and the 2 threes that Faulkner made. He wasn't a guy. They returned 4 players who averaged double figures. He's a transfer, averaged 6 points in Division II. He has really made a difference here with his scoring.
He really has, and kind of picked up where Halverson hasn't been able to get started. I think some of the length of those Georgia defenders has really kept Halverson in check, but whole another 20 minutes right here.
Biggest lead for either side, get out to 4 points. It's been very tight and competitive. And there's Anthony Edwards with a steal. Dogs with numbers, a spin move, and then he misses the dunk. Wow. It looked great until the very end. And it'll be cat-of-bounds basketball.
Comes with the steal. Knew he wasn't going to give it up, but boy, just wasn't quite in position to hammer it home. That crowd was ready to get behind him right now.
So you needed the George Gervin or Dr. J finger roll there to float it in.
Going old school on the Iceman cometh.
Now there's a guy who could score.
Here
comes Faulkner. Now to Steger. Steger gave Catamounts a lift on the boards in that first half. Another turnover. Ant-Man out in front. He misses again. So 2 short ones unable to go in. Georgia maintained possession. And I would guess some freshman frustrations.
Well, and he's got to learn to get to the next play. And also, right, at this level, it's different than high school. I mean, guys were able to chase him down and try to defend that. 6 months ago, he's playing high school against guys that are, anywhere from 5'11" to 6'2", and they can't challenge that dunk.
Well, a lot of times you're probably also just, you give it up a little bit too.
Sure.
Everything's contested. I'll use a baseball analogy for you. Calling Georgia games and SEC games for so long, you see so many hot shot pitchers come in, and it might be a mid-major, but you learn quickly everybody can hit a fastball at this level. And then all of a sudden, you get here at Western Carolina. They struggled last year in the Southern Conference, but this is a good team, and everybody can play. We're going to check and see.
Looking to reset the shot clock.
That could be it. Remember, it's opening night for everybody.
So
I guess they're seeing if it definitely hit the iron.
Hit the rim, rebound by Amazing. Clearly off Steger right there.
So it'll be Georgia ball with 20 on the shot clock.
So they're trying to confirm, was that an offensive rebound? Ngumeze, which, yes, he had it with two hands and couldn't hammer it home.
I do love the new rule, going to 20 on the reset on the offensive board. It'll be Hammond set to throw it in. Wheeler running the point here for Georgia. Through traffic, penetration from the little guy in the finish, and the Dogs surge ahead. Did you mention he's going to be a crowd favorite?
Just once or twice, and it won't be the last time. You know, you had to stay locked on Edwards in the corner right there, and it just gave him the opportunity to drive.
Faulkner again, his third trade. A call and raise.
Again, a couple of years ago, as a high school senior, 36 a game.
Ant-Man, no good. Dotson, rebound number 9. He's one board away from a double-double. Faulkner, nifty move crossing over, and Wheeler called for the foul.
Invert trip right there. Watch Wheeler. He's able to turn the corner. The defender had to stay locked on Edwards, and he just knows how to go down Main Street. And then Faulkner comes right back over Hammonds, who's got to honor the ability of that guy to get into the paint.
And that's a type of basket. If Western Carolina's going to pull off the upset, you have to make plays like that. You got to counter punch.
Well, and they missed a couple, and they gave away a couple of defensive rebounds in the first half, so they were not perfect by any means and still had that 1-point lead.
This is going to be on Edwards. It's going to be his second. You mentioned it too, the freshman around the rim a couple times, couldn't finish. Got to be able to flush that, move forward. Against Wheeler, Hammond shifts on it.
Somehow Halverson just standing in the corner right there. He's got to be a decoy.
Defense creating transitions for Georgia. How about the jump stop and finish from Xavier Wheeler?
Boy, on a night when people potentially come out to watch Anthony Edwards, it's the smallest guy on the court stealing the show.
And Faulkner answers again. So he's got 14. And here's Crump from downtown with the pose on the finish.
70% of his career makes are three-point field goals. That's where he's best.
Faulkner again, this one off target, and here's Edwards. Ahead to Wheeler. Western Carolina gets back, but it doesn't matter. Wheeler finds the crease, and the Dogs lead by 3.
Don't judge the size of the dog in the fight.
And we got another whistle here. Ngumeze called for the foul. Let's check the Wheeler highlight package.
A little spin move right there, and then flips it up with the left hand. He is a guy that has energized this crowd and changed the dynamic of a game in a hurry.
Gibson, no help defense, an easy 2.
Yeah, Crump stayed locked on Halverson, had to make a decision. Quiets the crowd momentarily.
Well, Wheeler, you know, Georgia fans, they would be delighted to find another J.J. Frazier, the little guy. And Ngumeze fires for 3. Hammond's mistimed his jump. Faulkner on the run. He'll miss at the rim. Tough break there for Western Carolina. Look at Dodson. What a way to get his 10th rebound. And the big man going to drive in and draw the blocking foul because he was in the circle.
The crowd doesn't like it. That was clearly the right call. Surprised Dodson didn't flip out to a three-point shooter.
That is 4 fouls now on Ngumeze.
Dodson came up with the hustle play, came up with it at half court on the steal, and notice, yep, the defender's feet, while he was just outside the arc, they were moving. You gotta love the energy in this building tonight.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It is like an SEC game in here right now.
No, it is. The lower bowl almost completely filled in as Dotson misses. Got to get his free throws down. He's got the double-double. And you look at the foul trouble for Georgia. That is a heavy load.
Where do you turn to defend Dodson one-on-one?
This game could come down to if he could convert at the stripe. He hits the second. So he's at 15 and 11. We are tied again. That's 10 ties. Kamara to Edwards. Crump from the hash. Short. Edwards. What a board. Stripped and fouled. I think they got Dodson. Let's see. No, that is a break for Catamounts. It's been Marcus Thomas.
3 freshmen out there right now for Georgia, all playing heavy minutes and a big part of what they're trying to do offensively.
You talk about a rapid acceleration in the growing process.
To grow up in a hurry.
They're going to go to the scores table and check something. They got that foul on Dotson. That is 2 on Dotson. He is put together. What a game he's having. Hammonds with a lob, and this is going to be a push in the back.
And that McCray impeded Edwards' progress right there. Watch Edwards in the corner. They were just trying to throw it up to him on the lob, and McCray just stepped underneath him enough to where he wasn't able to get up off his 2 feet. That was a good call by the official.
Timminsville, South Carolina's high school, state runner-up. My goodness, a lot of whistles. Now an offensive foul on Georgia. This is going to be on Kamara. And Georgia, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fouls. 2 for Western Carolina here in the half. That's 18 fouls in the game for Georgia. Tom Crean not going to be happy with that as McCray takes his turn running the point. X factor, though, has been Faulkner tonight, Coach.
Certainly has, particularly at the offensive end where he's been able to make those threes on a night where Halverson hasn't been able to knock any down.
Step back by Gibson. They're looking for the big man. There's Hammonds coming from behind with the help. Nicely designed by Georgia defensively. Crump got out of control. Kamara can't control. Edwards can. Has it swatted away. Catamounts want to run. Georgia dashing back. Hammonds with a good defensive presence. Thomas gets it back. Fires from 3 and misses. Rebound tipped. He gets his own miss. Steger went to the tiptoes. 14 to shoot.
Steger's been quiet here also.
Edwards with a steal. 46-46. Edwards in transition down the lane. Charge. And that'll take us into an official timeout. It is 46-46. Back and forth we go at Athens on the SEC Network.
If you are addicted to the game of football, the study itself becomes really significant. In this post-Moneyball generation, we are analyzing everything. Pro Football Focus can now predict future performance based on the data of the past. With machine learning and AWS, we're going to truly change the game.
Not much. How about you?
Are you answering my text in person?
I am, yeah.
The Nissan Altima, now offering the most tech-advanced engine in its class.
46-46. Dogs in Western Carolina. 16 lead changes, 10 ties. And how about a little Texas two-step by the freshman from Houston?
Boy, you said it best, partner. I mean, he has changed this game here in the second half with his quickness. Maybe not blazing speed, but boy, he's got some quickness low to the ground, and he knows how to get by defenders. Doesn't matter what size he is, he can get to the rim and he can finish. And he's put this crowd on their feet.
One thing about smaller players at this level, for practically their entire career, they have had to learn how to create space, different methods, and Wheeler showing some early signs that he is going to be a fan favorite here in Athens.
Well, there's There's a lot more athleticism than you see, a lot more toughness than you can see. I mean, that takes real evaluation, by the way, by the Georgia coaches. You can't just say, hey, we're going to go sign a 5'10" point guard from Houston.
The drive, the dish, the air ball. Dogs catch a break there. The freshman Kamara was standing a bit for that rebound, but Georgia has possession as Wheeler moves ahead. There's Hammonds for three at the head of the key. In and out. McCray to the boards. Believe this, 16 lead changes and 10 ties tonight. Deep three, good. Great touch by Faulkner. He's got 17.
I stand corrected as a pass-first guard. Coaches were raving about how good he was on the scout team last year distributing the basketball, but prove it tonight, he is a scorer.
Again, the big lead for either team in this game has been 4 points. It's been a terrific contest here on opening night. Kamara to Edwards from the right elbow. Hammonds drives, no good, and a foul.
Just enough of a touch foul right there. Hammond's been quiet, but look at Faulkner. Nice follow through. And when you combine that with some confidence of some previous shots, he feels like that basket is as big as a wash tub right now.
And you know, too, he's so anxious to get in the game, transferring, having to sit out the year, run the scout team. That is not a glamorous life as Hammonds hits a free throw. And you think it's hard learning the playbook when you're a student manager, when you're on the practice squad. You got to learn the other team's plays.
Sure.
Every time out, and that is a grind. So, you know, he is savoring this opportunity and having a great game tonight.
Isn't it interesting we say had to sit out? You don't hear that much anymore.
No, you sure don't.
There's so many waivers that are granted.
Hammonds misses the second. So the Western Carolina Catamounts lead Georgia by 2, and they have the ball. Gresham in for Georgia. Faulkner quickly in the forecourt. Halverston misfires. He's still scoreless. Got his own miss. Faulkner with the head fake. In deep. Floater. Nope. Hammonds tough board and trap.
Can't fault Xavier Cork for that.
No,
That freshman
no.
just going after the offensive rebound like he's been taught. You know, if he can just provide what he did there, just a couple of minutes of rest for Carlos Dodson. While he gains experience, they don't have to play Dodson 40 minutes. That's exactly what Mark Prosser wants.
Hammonds rebound count at 7. Wheeler and Gresham, the 2-point guards, on the floor together for Georgia. Hammonds to Fagan. Wheeler cutting in underneath. Wheeler, a little up and under again. This one won't go. Crafty. He gets the bailout whistle.
That's the friendly whistle right there. Similar to the previous call when Hammonds was going there. Just enough of contact that the official felt compelled to make that call, affecting the shot.
Mark Prosser did not like that whistle, shockingly. Swish. Wheeler's got a good stroke. As a high school senior at Houston Christian, he averaged 19 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. It's originally a Texas A&M commit, but they had a coaching change.
Buzz Williams leaving Virginia Tech to go down and replace Billy Kennedy. It'll be interesting to see how Buzz, what he can do with A&M. He's been successful at every other stop, Marquette, Virginia Tech.
Interesting, every summer get asked on our local talk show, what SEC coach is on the hot seat? As Faulkner drives, has it blocked, loose ball will go to Georgia's Christian Brown. Here's Wheeler on the run with a seam, and the freshman has it stripped away, draws the foul. He'll shoot 2 more with dead on 13 to go. This one on Halverson. We're back to what coach is on the hot seat. You know the answer to that. All of them. Every coach every year. I don't care if you're Nick Saban. Alabama rolls a 4 and 8 out there. Guess what? He's on the hot seat.
Well said. You know, this day and age, those 5-year contracts don't mean a lot. Other than potentially money on a buyout, right? Ask Willie Taggart at Florida State, just 18 games into a second year.
Wheeler has given Georgia the lead. Heard a great story once that the legendary John McKay, he said he invented the term 5-year plan because he had a 5-year contract. He had a 3-year contract, he had a 3-year plan. Wheeler now with 15 points, and it's Georgia 51, Western Carolina 49. Terrific game here tonight, opening night. Great atmosphere, as Coach Keener has mentioned. We're here in early November. Terrific crowd here at the Stegman Coliseum. As Harris nearly turns that one over. Faulkner's been so good at the point, but here's Gresham. Feeds Fagan. Underneath, Brown for the reverse lay-in. Secondary transition. And Georgia matches its biggest lead. It's 53-49. And Coach will let this one take us into the timeout. Defense creating offense.
That's exactly right. Trying to get the crowd into it. Gresham to Fagan. Inside to Brown. Enough said.
If you are addicted to the game of football, the study itself becomes really significant. In this post-Moneyball generation, we are analyzing everything. Pro Football Focus can now predict future performance based on the data of the past. With machine learning and AWS, we're going to truly change the game.
Happy birthday, all caps, exclamation point, cake slice emoji, candle emoji, emoji with the heart eyes.
Dogs have scored 7 straight to take a 53-49 lead. Along with Coach Dean Keener, I'm Jeff Dantzler. 18 lead changes, 11 ties. Terrific season opener here in Athens. And how about the freshman? There's the Ant-Man. But, Coach, it's the little guy, Savir Wheeler, putting on a show. 10 of his 15 here in this second half.
He's been fantastic. He's changed the game. He's excited the crowd. He's excited his teammates. I mean, he has done it all at the offensive end. And, oh, by the way, he's defended pretty well at the defensive end. So, look, you got to put aside, hey, he's 5'10", he's 5'9". Doesn't matter what it is, he is a player.
Georgia just 4 of 19 on threes, but 15 of 19 from the foul line. Western Carolina just 5 of 11 from the free throw line. Catamounts 19 of 47 shooting. Georgia 17 of 44. On the boards, Georgia +3. Clearly, that little spurt with Dotson on the bench, the big man back in, and he is having a monster night, Coach, with 15 points and 11 rebounds.
We play 7.5 minutes, and now Western Carolina with 6 turnovers here in the second half, also a big key.
Dotson facing up, great move down the baseline as it's swatted away by Brown with those long arms. Dotson just relentless underneath. Talking about growing up loving those post players. He's a throwback for me, Coach.
Yeah, he is. I mean, you know, it's interesting. Let's call Western Carolina mid-major. So many times they'll list their center, their power forward at 6'7", and they're really 6'5".
Right.
Dodson is all of 6'7" and looks all of 270, but nimble with quick feet. Evidence good hands in the first half. I mean, he really is, and that looked good right there, a good free throw shooter away from being a mid-major kind of all-American guy.
100% agree. Hammonds was called for that foul. He's saying it wasn't me. And I think the officials could potentially discuss this and go check the monitor, because that's a difference between Hammonds having 3 or 4 fouls. He is pretty adamant about it. So let's see, Coach, if they do go to the monitor. I think they will. Tom Crean asking for it. They're going to send everybody off. And how about Carlos Dotson with 16 points, 12 rebounds, and there you see young Mark Prosser. All right, let's check this foul. Dotson getting in deep. They're going to call that on Fagan. That's a break for Georgia, too, because Brown also has 3 fouls, so the Dogs didn't want that.
That's great work by our camera crew right there, though. A couple of different angles. Clearly, you see Fagan right there.
Got the arm.
Get him right at the wrist on the arm. Yep, on that second effort opportunity that Dotson has done multiple times tonight. He's beaten the Dogs to those second chance, those 50-50 rebounds.
This is a team that has a chance to make a big jump in the SoCon as Dotson misses a second one and Hammonds grabs his 9th rebound. But just the inside-out potential they have, and especially with the emergence of Faulkner here tonight.
They've got a nice top 7 or 8.
Here's Gresham for 3, no good. Fagan rebound. He is tough underneath. Fagan listed at 6'3", out of Logtown, Georgia, Upson Lee High School.
Pretty successful high school career, 62-0 his last 2 seasons.
That'll do. Gibson misfires, and which way will they point? It'll be Georgia's possession. So the Bulldogs with the biggest lead either team has had here tonight. It has been a back-and-forth affair, and with 11 and a half to go, it's Fagan shooting Georgia out in front, 55-50 on the SEC Network.
I wanna go where my baby lives. I wanna go where he lives. They say she lives up on a hill.
You must be Steven's phone.
Now you can know who's on your network and control who shouldn't be. Only with Xfinity X5. Simple, easy, awesome.
Happy birthday. All caps. Exclamation point. Exclamation point. Cake slice emoji. Candle emoji. Emoji with the heart eyes.
55-50 Georgia. There you see Carlos Dodson. He's got a tweet from Robbie in Jacksonville saying Dodson reminds him of Oliver Miller, the Big O from Arkansas. Good call.
I could certainly agree with that. 25 pounds lighter, but you know, regardless, that is a nice compliment because
it is.
Big O was a heck of a player.
And how about the triumvirate there? Faulkner with 17, Gibson with 12, and again, 4 double-digit scores back for Western Carolina. But Faulkner making his presence known here at the point. It's been Wheeler showing the way for Georgia in the second half. And an away from the ball foul on number 3, Christian Brown. That is his 4th.
You know, if you can get 3 guys in double figures like Western, you know, you've got a chance, and they do. But, you know, just 2 points from Ano Steger and nothing from Matt Halverson. Both were over 11 points a game last year. Western Carolina just 26.5% here in the second half with 6 turnovers. That's really the difference, along with Severe Weaver and what he's been what he's been able to do at the offensive end.
If Georgia made the run when Dotson went to the bench, and again, this 5-point margin, the biggest for either team. Steger driving, nice reverse layup. He hurt you, coach.
Well, they need some production out of Halverson and Steger.
Hammonds back quickly for Georgia. Back iron, no good. Dotson tips the board. Western Carolina could tie it with a 3. Splash. 55-55.
Steger is the leader of this team. Not only is he a co-captain, but he is a guy that lives in the gym. He's respected by his teammates. He's the only cat to start all 32 games a year ago. Nice move baseline. And then the next possession, the kick for the 3 right there. Nice job by McCray finding an open Steger feeder set. Knocks it home. Just like that, tie basketball game.
So
5-0 run.
From 2 points to having 7 points. He's got 6 rebounds, so he's doing his part there, but they've gotten scoring from all over the floor, and the Catamounts have cashed in, and they are not going away. All right, don't forget Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 Central, the SEC Nation traveling pregame show will be in Tuscaloosa for number 1 LSU and number 2 Alabama with Marty, Marcus, Paul, and Tim as they break down everything from the gridiron to the grill for week 11 of the college football season. SEC Nation presented by Regions Bank right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. What a game here tonight. Unofficially, that is our 12th tie and 18 lead changes. And another whistle. Dotson whistled for his 3rd. Western Carolina could not afford to lose the big man.
Anthony Edwards has been on the bench for some time here now.
See Tom Crean, 20th season as a head coach, second year here in Athens. Rodney Howard, the freshman, 6'10" from Ypsilanti, Michigan, to the line.
He's a guy that played a couple of years at Centennial High School in Roswell, so he's got some Georgia ties.
Dotson just collected his 13th rebound. Halverson, McCray. Here's Steger, who's got the hot hand, trying to get it to Dotson.
Nice offense by the Catamounts, but better defense.
Faulkner, no good. Hammonds, he has been terrific on the boards for the Bulldogs.
Much like Steger, you're right with Hammond's rebounding, but he's going to have to give them some offensive productivity right here.
Hammond's just 1 out of 8. He's got 9 boards. Fagan to Crump. There's Howard to the middle. Good! Catamounts wanted the offensive foul. And this is going to be on Steger. That was a bit of a disjointed play, but the Dogs will certainly take it. Edwards back into the game for the Bulldogs. Rodney Howard steps to the strike for Georgia. It is a 57-55 Bulldogs lead. Steger had scored 5 straight after Georgia had extended to 55-50, biggest lead for either side. Foul trouble for both sides. No good. He's 0 for 2, and Dotson, 14 rebounds. Always loved watching on ESPN Jack Ramsey. Call him a stat sheet stuffer. And Dotson is certainly one. Crump gets to this board. Georgia by 2 with the ball. Freshman Edwards back to Crump, and he was out of bounds.
Out of bounds. Western Carolina ball. Entering for Georgia, number 10, Tumani Kamara.
So Kamara back in for Georgia, and Gibson. He will return for Western Carolina. Really like Gibson. He had 10 in the first half, a dozen for the game. Here's a question for Coach Keener here. The longer three-point line, does it cut down the space in terms of stepping out on the sideline?
It does. I mean, it shrinks it by, a little over 2 feet, or almost 2 feet from a year ago. Now, you'd hope through practice and repetition, guys would be used to it, but first real game, lights on, running hard, certainly a possibility.
There's Faulkner to Dotson, back to the basket. Catamounts down by 2. Only 2 to shoot. Faulkner at the buzzer for the lead. He knocks it down. 20.
And that's a byproduct of all the attention that Dotson received. There were 3 guys kind of surrounding him, ready for him when he put the ball on the floor. One being Faulkner's defender.
It is an 8-2 Western Carolina run. Gresham to Edwards to give the Dogs the lead. The freshman knocks it down. His first points of the second half, and Edwards has 15. What a game. 20 lead changes tonight.
Well, coaches won't want to hear this, but this is really good for your growth, right? A good competitive game out of the box.
Faulkner leaves this one short. Georgia on the move. Edwards spotting up. Great pass down low to Howard. He finishes. And I think Edwards more excited about the assist than the basket.
Just that youthful enthusiasm that a guy like that brings. He even fired up teammate Crump.
Halverson 3, no good. Edwards to the boards. And the freshman in the open floor. What a gate. Just glide. And Crump delivers. Georgia, just like that, pushes the lead to 7.
Well, and Mark Prosser with only 1 timeout remaining. He's got to wait for that under 8 to occur. Yet at 7 points, he can't let it get out of control. Game within the game right now.
Edwards with the 3, Edwards with the assist, Crump with the 3. An offensive foul going against Western Carolina's Mason Faulkner. That'll be his 4th, and we'll head into an official timeout with the Dogs rolling on opening night here in Athens. It's Georgia by 7 on the SEC Network.
Baker Baker Mayfield is an artiste, and AWS has proof. It's 3rd and long, and the defense is putting on the squeeze. Baker shimmies to freedom and fires off a 50-yard bomb. The receiver's wearing the DB like a wetsuit. Catch probability, only 15%. Oh, Baker Mayfield, is there anything you can't do?
That's a really good question.
Next Gen Stats, powered by Amazon Web Services. AWS is how.
Dogs on a 10-3 run, leading Western Carolina 65-58. Georgia getting out in the open floor and knocking down some trays.
Now, we said the key for Western Carolina to spring the upset was to knock down some threes, but if Georgia was going to get some separation, it was going to have to come from their good three-point shooters. Certainly Tyree Crump and then Anthony Edwards in the corner. Two big shots that have now put Georgia to their largest lead of 7.
Well, Georgia was 4 for 19 on threes, and now 6 for 22. So 2 for your last 3. And Edwards, he looks so comfortable in the open floor.
I mean, he's a tremendous talent. But that's what he is right now, a talent. Trying to become a really, really good college basketball player. Put aside what's going to happen, next year. Right now, for the next 4 or 5 months, he needs to immerse himself into this program, and I think he has, and become efficient. We know he's got athleticism, high basketball IQ. He's got to learn to get to the next play through mistakes, and understand he's going to garner an awful lot of attention.
He's got 9 rebounds, 3 assists, should probably have 2 or 3 more assists. Kamara leaves this one short, and Halverson will come back the other way. But Dodson has just been a beast tonight for the Catamounts. Steger, Trey, good, and did Western Carolina need that one?
Boy, they certainly did. We said about 3 minutes ago, Steger and Halverson were going to have to give him some offense. Steger has 2 threes and a 2, 8 points. Catamounts hanging around.
That might be their biggest basket of the night. Georgia had created a little bit of separation. Here's Howard. Tries to hook his way past Dotson, and a foul called on Dotson. That is a tough break for Western Carolina. I think Georgia just got away with one, and that is Dotson's 4th foul.
And you saw that left chicken wing on the replay. Wow. Big play with 6:52 to go. Dotson just got to watch his emotions right here. Doesn't need to pick up any technicals.
That would finish him. At this point, Coach Prosser got a decision to make. Do you go to the bench? Howard struggling here at the free throw line for Georgia.
Watch it again. Watch the drive here. The face up and then the left arm. I think the official felt Dotson was driving Howard out of bounds. If you're Prosser now, you've got to you're going to have to play this game almost in 90-second increments with Dotson on the bench.
Well, what he's hoping for, if he can stay within 4 or 5, then at the under 4 timeout, get him back. And Howard's 0 for 4 from the foul line. Halverson looking for his first of the night. He just can't buy one. There is Steger. He has been the man in the second half for the Catamounts.
Boy, right, you're exactly right. Wheeler was the one for Georgia that gave him the lead. Steger's the one that's pushed him all the way back.
10 of his 12 since intermission. 7 rebounds. 65-63 Georgia. Catamounts have scored 5 in a row. Edwards pull-up triple on target.
Wow, you thought he almost tripped there. Could have gotten called for a travel.
What a game here tonight. Now, Tom Crean would tell you he would want to see domination. There's Edwards with a steal. Georgia with numbers. Alley-oop for Brown. He misses. Brown, 1 dribble and a foul. Halverson got him. So this is something, Coach, that you talked about. I'm sure Coach Crean, I want to go out there and win by 30 and really dominate. I agree with you, though. I think a test like this, obviously it's good for Western Carolina. They still got a shot to win this game. But for Georgia to get pushed like this in the opener with a crowd like this helps get you ready.
It does. I mean, look, I know from sitting over there on that bench, it's hard. Coach Crean pacing, just a tough 6 minutes coming up here. But yeah, if you're going to get better and you're going to prepare for that January 5th SEC opener, you've got to have some games like this. You've got to go through the ups, the downs, especially with a young group. And these guys, they don't know what they don't know. You can talk to them, you can teach them in practice, and even exhibition games. Not until the lights come on and they really count the W's and L's do you get their attention.
Georgia 5 for 12 in the second half from the foul line. Nice move by Gibson, but he can't finish. Edwards with a double-double. Edwards for 3. He gets another one. The Ant-Man with 21.
And for those of the people that thought, where was Anthony Edwards? Where did he go there for a couple of minutes in the early second half? Well, he's alive and well.
Tyree Crump with a foul. A couple of free throws coming in. The stroke so pure.
Certainly is. Right off the dribble, defender not in position, steps up, knocks it down.
I love the joy he plays with. He's got the different 3 sign because Steph Curry does his with like the okay there, I think.
Yeah.
So a different look there. Here's Dotson, short.
I'm a little old school. I wish they wouldn't do anything, shooting arrows and the threes, but that's the 54-year-old in me. Just get back and defend, get to the next play, but I also know the culture of today's game.
We're dinosaurs.
That's right.
But it is great to watch a kid like that play with this kind of joy, as Dotson now has 17 points and 15 rebounds. It is Georgia by 7. The 3 balls starting to drop. Edwards with 3 triples in the half as Wheeler runs baseline. Edwards has it stripped away. Catamounts with numbers. Nice pass. Faulkner fouled from behind. Edwards whistled for his 4th. The last Georgia freshman to record a double-double in the season opener, Jeremy Jacob, back in 2007.
Nice strip by McCray right there, and then the dump down to Faulkner.
Well, they've got the 4 starters returning all average double digits. You throw in Faulkner and a couple of good-looking freshmen. This team, I think, has a chance to make a big jump in the SoCon.
Certainly do. It's not easy to play at the Ramsey Center on the Western Carolina campus.
Cullowhee, North Carolina, up in the mountains. They had some travel troubles today. Stopped off to eat on the way, and the bus got stuck. Slowed them down for a little bit, and that's just not an easy tow job.
Don't look at those numbers from last year and let that influence your thinking for this season. Mark Prosser and staff building something pretty special at Western Carolina.
Really do like this team. Good challenge for the Dogs here tonight. They hit the 5-minute mark. Georgia with the ball in a 6-point lead. Crump for 3. Short, long rebound. Gresham gets it. You see that shot clock back to 20. Hammonds has been cold shooting. He's now 1 for 10, but Gresham will finish. What you like from Hammonds, the shots aren't always going to fall, but he's done a really good job on the boards tonight. He's got 9.
Showing no effects of the foot injury from a year ago that ended his season, obviously several months ago. His stats up across the board.
Brown really going up high to get that rebound and a foul. Oh, that's on the big man. And that is going to put Western Carolina 5.5 feet under. Carlos Dotson fouling out with 17 points and 15 rebounds. And that 4th foul in particular, I know that is one that is really going to sting for the Catamounts. And Mark Prosser was in a spot, I think, where you're saying, okay, Do we sit him and then try and bring him back at the under 4 timeout? But if the game gets too far away from you, it's a calculated gamble.
Yep, and I'll agree with what did.
I do too. You got to have him on the floor.
Yeah, he's playing too well, too much of an X factor in there. And you'd hope, hey, here's a guy that has played, a ton of games. He's going to do the best he can to try to play the last 5 minutes or so, but tough break for Western right now. Backs against the wall, down 8.
I got another one to throw at you. This was an experimental rule years ago. I've always been a fan. If a player fouls out, it's a free throw by Brown is no good. But if you go to overtime, he comes back and gets another foul. Everybody gets another.
There's some talk. Do you go to 6 fouls? I think the game's pretty good right now.
I think 5's a good number. But I would like to see an OT for a player to get back in, to get that extra one. Brown hits a second one, and Georgia's not been good at the free throw line in the second half, but now the lead is 9. So Western Carolina going to have to do it from distance if the Catamounts are going to come back and win here in Athens. Court, hot potato there. Here's Gibson, dribble drive against Hammonds. Nice little up and under, doesn't get the whistle, and Hammonds now has 10 rebounds.
That was the length of Hammonds against the shorter Gibson. Athletic move by Gibson, but just couldn't get it off over the 6'8", 6'9" junior. And now you run your offense if you're Georgia.
Brown with a dribble drive and an offensive foul. Tom Crean doesn't like the call. Christian Brown, talented freshman, is fouled out. Home stretch, it's a Dogs by 9 on the SEC Network.
The world's shedding its skin. So much is about to change in a moment.
I'm ready.
Happy birthday, all caps, exclamation point, cake slice emoji, candle emoji, emoji with the heart eyes.
Georgia extending the lead to 9. It's been a great game tonight here in Athens, 74-65. Jeff Dancer, Coach Dean Keener with you, and the freshman sensation delivering.
Anthony Edwards has been fantastic, maximizing his talent on the court, really showing it from behind the line here. A couple of deep threes in the second half that have helped expand this lead. And you mentioned it, the youthful enthusiasm spreads among the team. What a stat line, 21 and 10 thus far. Go along with 3 assists and 3 steals. You called it Stat C Shuffer. We'll steal that line because it's most appropriate for tonight.
It certainly is. He would tell you should have a couple more baskets, a couple more assists. Here's what stands out to me, and Western Carolina's top player is fouled out. Georgia has a 9-point lead, so an uphill battle for the Catamounts, but 20 lead changes and 12 ties in this game tonight. This has been a terrific game.
It certainly has. Save a few too many turnovers.
And some first game jitters, as you would think, but just the competitive nature of it has been top notch.
And now the margin for error for the Catamounts razor thin. They've got to maximize every offensive opportunity. Can't do it right there. Faulkner with a missed floater.
Pretty good look. Gresham grabs a rebound for Georgia, so both point guards playing, Wheeler and Gresham. Hammonds hasn't had the shot on tonight, but he's done a good job on the boards. Hammonds against Court. Nice block by the freshman. And Hammonds, we got a whistle, a jump ball. Possession arrow Georgia's way. Boy, Western Carolina got to love the defense.
Absolutely. Twice by Xavier Cork right there. Moves his feet, gets his hands up, gets one block, stays with it. Hammond stays with it, but Cork gets another one. And then he gets a third.
10 to shoot, and this is a hold on the inbounds, and that is a tough foul there for Western Carolina. That's a good call. The shot clock was down to 10, and now Georgia's going to go to the line. So WCU had a good chance to get out of there with a stop. And that is Cameron Gibson's third foul. Here's Tyree Crump at the line. What a stroke he has. Crump last season 78% from the stripe. Georgia lead is 9, biggest for either team. First half, it was within a one-possession game the whole way up until Georgia went up by 4. Then Western Carolina came right back and caught the Bulldogs, led by 1 at intermission. Now it's Georgia by 10. Well, we were really looking at Dotson and Edwards tonight. They've both been terrific. Just game right now, Dotson is fouled out, and Edwards will come back in for Crump.
Both the players to watch. We also talked about Western, being able to find the range from behind 3. They've knocked down 9. Faulkner with over half those. He's made 5, but just not enough on a night when he needed something to complement Dotson.
Long 3, no good, back iron. Fagan fights for the rebound. There's Steger, has it stripped away. Steger has been fantastic in the second half. And also, how about the play of the 2 point guards, Mason Faulkner and Xavier Wheeler?
Yeah, both in first time in their respective uniforms have really shone brightly. And look, regardless of who wins and loses the ball game, there's a lot that these coaches can, a lot of positives that each coach will be able to take. Now look, they'll talk about the negatives as well. We need to do this better. We need to run our offense. Don't quick shoot. But overall, I think both these coaches will come away feeling, you know what, we made some progress tonight.
100%. It's been a terrific game. Here's Edwards with the left hand and the foul. Let's take a look at Edwards, just so powerful and smooth.
A strong upper body, he can take the hit. Had it a couple times in the first half, did it here again. He's got a pace to his game. Doesn't rush. Not selfish. And got a nice stroke to be able to finish it and then knock down the old-fashioned 3.
He is steady going 75 on the interstate. It's not 100 and then 20 and then getting snarled in traffic. He is steady all the time. And I think you mentioned it too there, that upper body strength. He is just mature beyond his years. Steger with the drive. Edwards ties him up. He'll be whistled for a foul as Georgia's pushed this lead out to 14.
You may have mentioned in the first half, Edwards, as he takes a curtain call here, I guess, with a standing ovation from the crowd. He's just 18 years old. You mentioned it, in August. And so, with all the accolades that he had in high school, McDonald's All-American game, and the expectations, I think he has handled the first game very well.
Well, he's very popular amongst his teammates. It's not a huge ego thing, and everyone has said he is blended in. And I think it probably helped, too, with first free throw, that there's such a huge group of freshmen coming in, too. And there you see the comparison. Terrific games for both.
What could have been had Dotson been able to play the last 6 or 7 minutes. Fouling out with 5:56 to go.
Steger's been terrific. By the way, we had Edwards with 10 rebounds. This is one thing that gets you sometimes. If you get a rebound and are fouled, that is not always scored a rebound. It should be, but that's one that can slip through the cracks.
Why don't they count an assist when you feed it to somebody and they get fouled and they make both free throws?
I agree. There you go, Rayshawn Hammonds. Well, the shot hasn't been there, but his defense has been good, and excellent work with 12 rebounds. Halverson, he misses. Steger with another board, and Steger finishes. How about this, Coach? 14 of his 16 in the second half, and he's nearing a double-double. That's 9 rebounds.
He's just been rock solid. You know, and for the Southern Conference, he's a guy that can play that 4 spot, the power forward, shoot trail threes, but he's tough enough and just big enough to be able to rebound.
Crump with the assist from Fagan.
Boy, nice basket cut by Crump. He was overplayed, and that's what young players need to learn. When you're overplayed, go back door.
And McCray will score and draw the foul.
His inner Xavier Wheeler right there. Watch Hammond's 2 possessions ago. Turns and posts, then faces up, little ball fake, gets to the rim. Nice job right there.
Boy, Halverson with some good looks, 0 for 7. Western's got to be thinking if just a couple of those go down. They have a lot of good pieces. And I think, too, with what you see from McCray and Court, that's 2 freshmen that can really help off the bench and a really good starting 5. And this might be a captain obvious thing, but when you've got 5 players on the floor who can score, very tough to defend.
Yeah. Fans tonight didn't see Matt Halverson at his best. I mean, he is an elite 3-point shooter. I mean, over 80% of his career shots in a Western Carolina uniform are threes, and he's over 41% career. Just didn't go down tonight, but you're right. I mean, you've got him and Gibson, and now Faulkner can play that way around Dodson. You've got the freshman off the bench. Nice group and for a second-year situation with Coach Mark Rosser.
Well, with so many teams playing 4 out now, you better have at least 4 guys on the floor who can shoot the basketball.
Absolutely. I'm not so sure you don't need all 5. It's really hard. And they don't have to all be 3-point shooters, but they've got to be able to shoot shots that fit their position or where coach wants him to play. A defensive specialist, you need guys that are going to play well at the defensive end, but I don't know that you can just be a specialist.
Wheeler has been lights out for the Bulldogs tonight. 17 points for the freshman. Bulldogs lead it by 13. 50 seconds to go. Faulkner for a deep 3. That's no good. Court fight for the rebound, but Georgia cleared it out. How about the little guy going to the boards, too? I love it. He averaged 9 rebounds a game last year, and now Wheeler has 19 points.
Not going to be outdone by his teammate, freshman Ant-Man.
McCray tries to drop it off for Halverson. Nearly a steal there by Wheeler. Let's take a look at Wheeler here. As
94 feet.
Yeah.
And he had to shoot it. That was not a selfish play. The shot clock was still going.
Well, you mentioned it was the steady speed from Edwards. Wheeler's a starter and a stopper as Kamara blocks the shot. And let's see if Georgia runs out the clock. Nope, Kamara will stuff it home with the alley-oop. 19 seconds, and it's Georgia by 17. Steger for a deep 3. No good. Long rebound, McCray with 8 seconds. Faulkner for 3. Nope. Rebound tipped. Georgia's got it. Fagan with 2 seconds to go will finish it. And Georgia will beat Western Carolina. 4/10 of a second to go. This was a very tight game, but the Bulldogs pull away and prevail 91-72. You see that final score, you never would have believed there were 20 lead changes and 12 ties in this game, but it was a terrific game.
It really was until about the last 6 minutes, which coincides with the fouling out of Carlos Dodson. Hey, look, Tom Crean talking to Steger right there, congratulating him on just a man's job. Both teams played extremely hard. The final score doesn't indicate how well Western Carolina played.
No, I agree 100% there. Dodson had a big game. It was an excellent game by Faulkner. As you said, Steger in the second half was lights out. But Anthony Edwards and Xavier Wheeler, the freshmen, get the Dogs rolling. And Georgia opens up the season with a 91-72 victory over Western Carolina. From a broadcast partner, Coach Dean Keener, I'm Jeff Dantzler. Thanks so much for being with us tonight on the SEC Network.